Hey everyone, welcome back to the A&Q series where we're answering questions that honestly it leads to more questions that sometimes lead to more answers, and before you know it, we're making some progress on our spiritual journey. So here's a great one. How do we pray? Now, it turns out that very same question was asked of Jesus by those who were like the closest to him. We would call them the disciples. They'd seen him do some pretty amazing things as they followed him around. He was healing the sick. He was feeding massive crowds in a way that, honestly, I can only describe it as miraculous. Walking on water, hello. Like he was doing stuff, not to mention the way he navigated his everyday life with its constant pressures. But they also saw Jesus pray, and I think that's the one, they single that out. We want to learn more about this. Like, how is it that your prayers have such power? How is it that they have such effect? Not to mention that Jesus' prayer time seemed to nourish and strengthen him. So to me, it's no wonder that they asked him how to pray like that. For some of us, if we're really going to be honest about prayer, it seems boring, even irrelevant, like a religious duty or obligation. Sometimes it seems impossible to stay on track. This is one of my favorite quotes from a writer named Henri Nouwen about this. He said when he's trying to pray, "My mind is like a banana tree filled with monkeys jumping up and down and all around it." Yes, I'm quite familiar with that phenomenon. All those distractions and things I'm supposed to be getting done. Maybe there's a memory of something I really didn't want to remember, or a worry, or a fear. So how does this work? Well, let me just say that it does take some practice and it takes a conscious decision on your part to stay at it. But God will help you, and I would say start. See, prayer is talking to God and talking with God. Dallas Willard gives us a really good working definition. My prayers are simply me talking to God about what we're doing together. Now, there's a lot being implied there. I'm doing this with God. And frankly, that might be where some of you are stuck. See, this notion of a God who actually is interested in your life, who loves you that much, that you're not sure you're believing that yet, but this is where I start. And then that conversation flows out of trusting that this is true. So when Jesus answered those disciples, the first thing he tells them is, start your prayers like this. Father, hallowed be your name. Now that word Father is loaded for some in great ways and maybe not so great ways. But there is an eternal Creator that loves you in the best possible ways. We could keep going with that famous prayer, honestly, but we'll have to do that in another video. I just wanted you to see that Jesus starts by recognizing that God is his Father. And believe it or not, he wants you to do the same. See, there is a God who's made a way for you to approach him through what Jesus has done for you. This is why you'll hear people talk about a relationship with God. It's that close, which means I get to talk to God about that which is in my life every day before me. This, by the way, I think can help us with all those distractions that are jumping up and down in our minds. Admit them. Talk to God about some of this stuff. Ask for strength to endure. Ask for focus. Pray for patience. Admit your worries. Don't try to impress God with your words. I say come clean on what's going on inside your head and heart because he already knows about it anyway. I mean, he knows about that ache of loneliness, that embarrassing regret, that frustration that you have with someone, that hurt, that fear, that grudge, the loss that you're experiencing right now, that temptation to chuck it all and run down a road that has warning signs all over it. I say pray. Invite him into whatever is swirling around your life these days, and then keep the conversation going. Don't shut it down. Don't pull away. But you also pray for those longings in your heart. The dreams that you can't shake off, the hopes that you have of how you want this next leg of the journey to go. This is also when you hold that friend's name in love before God and you ask him to care for them. You say these things out loud to God and you ask for his help and his wisdom, his direction. Thank him for the good things in your life. This too is a form of prayer. And I'll tell you this, the more we do that, the better we get at noticing these blessings in our lives. I guess what I'm trying to say is don't Don't settle for a bland experience when you can have a kind of life with God that is intimate and real. And, well, that's what you want, isn't it? And then maybe this. It's okay to admit when we aren't even sure that our prayers are being heard or how much good they're doing. Again, God already knows what's going on in your heart. So why not admit this out loud? In Mark chapter 9, Jesus encounters a father whose child has been through so much, and he's asking Jesus to help. To which Jesus then says something about believing, and the father says these incredible words, "I do believe, but help me overcome my unbelief." Now, what I love about this story is that Jesus doesn't walk away. He doesn't walk away from such an honest confession. Instead, he leans in and he meets that man and his son in the middle of their chaos. Maybe that's where you start. Help me. Help me find you. Help me with my unbelief. Help me to even pray. There is a completely in-charge God who has invited you to approach him the way a child approaches a loving father, a father who actually wants to spend time with you. You let this settle in and it will start to change how you pray. There's a lot more to this relationship with God. But let's stop here for now. If this has been helpful, please let us know in the comment sections. If you've got questions, please send them our way. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to this channel. We're hoping that this is helping, and we can't wait to hear more stories of people making progress on their journey with God. Till next time, thanks for joining us.